I realized last year that we're basically in an information war. And I know you've called it kind of similar things when you're over there. I mean, when I got, banned on YouTube, it was April 6th last year, second largest YouTube live stream in the world, then banned and deleted on YouTube afterwards. I started to realize that it really is an information war. And if people can control information, they can control people, control votes, control actions. And as long as that narrative continues to be able to take place in what typically is left-leaning technology platforms and media, it makes it really hard. And Dave, you're right. They put me through the ringer here in the newspapers. I mean, they were going after everything they could to try to rip me down. And yet when I spoke for anybody on the public on the streets for 5 minutes, whether, they were young, they were old, they were an immigrant, they were not, whatever religion, within 5 minutes they said, okay, that makes sense. And we hate the current mayor. I would love to vote for you. But I couldn't get that message out on a mass scale, even though I had the digital platforms. We got close, but it still feels like going up against a wave of this. How do you see that? And do you see it changing?
Well, look, as a guy named David, David beat Goliath. That's the old story. And I believe that Dave can beat Google. I believe the little guy can beat the big guy. It's the greatest human story that there is. I would say we've gone from an information war to really just a war on truth at this point. And the way I would say that shifted is, you're right. We were in an information war, meaning for the last, let's say, 10 years, we all got on Twitter, we all got on YouTube and Facebook and all of these things. We have simply no idea how they've been manipulating us. We have little hints about it, when they've said, okay, you can't post this, or we delete accounts. And we always know it always leans right when they're getting rid of people and banning people. But we really have no sense the extent that shadow bans have hid information from people, the way they've been able to inflate certain stories and deboost other stories and reorganize search results. I mean, there's so many pieces of this that truly, I don't think anyone, I actually don't even think whoever they are, I don't think anyone really understands what this information war has now become. Like, I don't know that Jack at Twitter truly knows who's shadow banning who and when they're shadow banned and when Twitter people can read your DMs and all the rest of it, or that even the top engineer at Google truly understands the algorithm and how videos are suggested. Like, I just don't think, I think that there is the machines are on, you know what I mean? Like, we're in the rise of the machines in essence. But the reason I would say we've gone from an information war for those 10 years dealing with all that to now a war on truth is that, look, here in America, half the country, wanted to open up, half the country wanted to lock down, half the country thought that the election was stolen, half the country didn't. Half the country thought that Brett Kavanaugh was a rapist, half the country didn't. Half the country thought that Jesse Smollett was the victim of a hate crime, half the country. I could go on and on with the endless amount of things that we are now split by. And the simple truth is, it's almost impossible to know what your neighbor thinks. So the people that literally live next door to me, I have no idea if they believe in a similar reality than I believe in. And I don't know at this point, because big tech has become so ubiquitous, because we're all wandering around with this device and how it's manipulating us and whether it's listening to us or reorganizing results based on what our interests are, whatever it might be. I don't know how we mitigate that. I don't know how we get something to feel like a national ethos again. I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I think the best thing you can do is care about your local community, start really within your household, your family, and then build out, a very bottom up way of living. And I think a lot of people are turning to that. I also think that there's going to be more of a backlash against big tech growing. I think people are going to realize, they called it social media. The implication was that it would make us more social. But we all know, after the first couple of years of Facebook where you connected with some old friends and it was sort of fun and, oh, I can't believe that old high school friend is now doing this or that. Next thing you know, you've started to hate everybody. You're angry at people all the time. We doom scroll on Twitter where you just look for things to make you angry. And then, of course, they built in these technological tricks like infinite scroll where it never stops. So pages never stop and your brain just keeps going and going and going. That's why I do my August off the grid thing. But basically, we have to figure out how do we connect a country from an American perspective. We've got about 350 million people here. Well, now we're all starting to believe very, very different things. And how do we make sure that those founding documents that are so precious, that have freed so many people over generations, how do we make sure that they're still respected and honored and obeyed? I don't know what the answer to that is. I don't think anyone has a good handle on that right now.